Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first to welcome you this evening. We are most grateful ourselves to be here in this happy theater and would like to express our extreme satisfaction to the management. Mr. Allen and Ms. Gear, someone here, would you please stand up? Would you please stand up? I have something I have to tell you. It's very important. You see, in the back of the ticket hall, and there are no references backstage whatsoever for these actors over there. Maybe this I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I must apologize. We present for you this afternoon a wonderful little piece, a musical operetta done entirely on ice skates. This is an adaptation of the old restoration epic, She Stoops to Conquer. Our version is entitled, She Speaks on Ice. What? No, that's not tomorrow. It's tomorrow night. What do you mean, not? What? He broke his leg. Right. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, slight change of plans. Tonight we present to you an enchanting little drama, which also happens to contain a homicide. Now we have many talented thespians to perform for you this evening, and at this time I will introduce them to you. First, the extraordinary Farrah Sheffield. Right. And is also no stranger to the art of manipulating people into thinking she knows what she is doing. Tonight, she will be playing Blanche Larrabee. Next, the lovely and talented Tim Hill. Such parts as Stanley the Nerd and our Miss Brooks, Homer Van Fleet in Night of January 16th, and was, oh yes, one of the funny-looking Chinese fellows in Anything Goes. Tonight, he will be playing Stephen McDonald. Next is Alicia Dillion. Though she may not be able to get a man with a gun, she was right on target as Rhonda Allen in our Miss Brooks. And tonight, she will be playing Jolene Larrabee. Next are Jimmy Conroy and this is Jimmy's announcement as he is running for president. Conroy for president 2020. Tonight he will be playing Leslie Larrabee. The talented and theatrical Chris Jones was also seen as Charlie in Annie Get Your Gun. In his spare time, he enjoys starting fires under the eye of a professional arsonist, playing his sex at funerals, and hopes to one day be a psychiatrist to help pyromaniacs. Tonight, he will be playing Leslie Larrabee. They're not really twins, but after all, this is theater. Next is Annie Young. Not as Annie, but as Annie's sister Jessie, which is actually Annie's sister's name. No, not Annie's sister Jessie, but Annie's sister. Anyway, tonight she will be playing the part of Belinda Martin. Next is Tim Grant. Playing the part of Malcolm Larrabee this evening. In his spare time, Tim enjoys wrestling, and, wrestling. This is Tim's debut performance. Last but not least is Jill Lehman. Jill will be playing Kimberly Trent this evening. She is well known for her inability to stop trucks, but we are proud to say she will be making her debut performance on both legs. That's our cast for this evening. They're very talented, and I hope that you all enjoy the show. Get off the stage! Go! Excuse me, Missy. Get off the stage. Actors these days. I must apologize. We have many surprises in store for you this evening. I hope. But most of all, we want you to play a part as well. We want you to try to figure out who done it, with what, and why. See how good you are at the general art of deduction. Are you ready to begin? Very well. Now remember, you must pay very close attention. But you also have to listen. You have to listen.
Sure you can understand that the rest of them are still pretty upset. Especially Josie. I mean, here she just walked in and found them. Like that. I know when I found out. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll just try to fix the facts, okay? I'm sort of the handyman around here. Well, handyman, gopher, butler. Oh, I guess if we're talking about emergency, right? Shouldn't have told you that I'm the butler. But anyway, Mr. Larrabee hired me on about a year ago. I used to be a teacher, English. But the world is overrun with English teachers. So, after I successfully navigated my way to the unemployment office back for about 6 months, Jolene introduced me to her father. He liked me. Mainly, I think, because I used to be a teacher. I think he had some idea of coaxing me back into the profession. He was a wonderful man. Now, I don't mean that in the sense of his being great or well-liked, because that was not the case. I mean it in the sense of his being full of wonder. It was amazing what this man could do. Like this party here this afternoon. It wasn't just your average Halloween party. No. Everyone had to come dressed up as their favorite Shakespearean character. It was going to be wonderful.
Damn, this is exciting. Leslie.
Well, what is Dad waiting for? What do you think, Doc? Think he's planning some grand entrance like the ghost of Hamlet's father?
I don't pretend to be able to outguess Carlton. He's got his own way. He'll come out when he's good and ready.
I think he's just being rude.
He is. Let's go tell him.
You go right ahead. You're the only one he listens to.
Leslie, will you please stop staring at that skull?
Why? Does it bother you? Why are you staring at that thing? I don't know. You remind me of somebody I used to know. How about it, Pop? Anybody you know?
That's enough of that.
Don't you wonder where he got it?
We're not having any of your innuendos here. We all know how you feel about Carlton.
Everybody's going to tell you I did it. Mainly because they think I hated the old bastard. But you can believe this. I didn't hate him. No, it was more of a nurtured apathy. It takes up too much time. And besides, I didn't want to give him old Moriarty. That's a little pet name I had for him. You know, Sherlock Holmes' nemesis, the embodiment of all that was evil. Well, now you have a picture of Carlton Larry, a picture that grew more wrinkled and sinister in his attic, while he presented a splendid facade of good old Uncle Carl, ready to give you money for anything, anytime. Then he'd call in his favors for whatever reason, whatever suited him. He also was a math professor. You know, it's interesting. You know why Sherlock Holmes was always so successful? Because his characters always behaved so logically, did irrational things when their backs were against the wall. He never had to deal with a madman. I know who this reminds me of. No, maybe not. I don't. Oh. No, not him. How about Pop? Anybody you know?
I said that's enough.
What's the big deal? He's not here anyway. Is he? Okay, where is he?
I know what Carlton's doing. He's sitting in his den waiting for Aunt Lil to get here.
Don't tell me he's going to try to upstage her.
No, he said it had something to do with some announcement or other.
Oh, yes. He told me over the phone that he had some revelation he was going to uncourt.
Did he tell you what it was about?
Does he ever?
I know who this reminds me of. Our old handyman.
Dip.
That Mr. Dip to you.
I overheard your phone call, Dad. Didn't Uncle Carl say something about the announcement? It was something about it concerning us?
Us? The whole family?
I didn't get that impression.
Well, not all of us. It just seemed to have something to do with one or two of us. But, oh, sorry, Dad.
After all, it was my phone call. He really didn't say.
Kimberly, did he say anything to you about any announcement?
No, he didn't. I mean, he mentioned something to me about it, but he didn't go into any great detail. I'm sure if it concerned the family, he would have kept it for himself.
Him and his surprises. What have they been telling you? They talked about me, didn't they? They told you how I was always spending money and running up the bills. I know. You don't have to tell me anything. It was always like that. They'd be huddled in a group, and the minute I entered their room, they'd get quiet or shut up altogether. But I knew. I always knew. I was being discussed again. But don't you see? That's my reason for not killing Carlton. That's my alibi, or whatever that's called. If he was always giving me money, and if he always paid the bills, why on earth would I want to kill Carlton? I know who probably told you it was me. It was Leslie, wasn't it? He hates Carlton, and anything to do with him. Anybody can tell you that. Why would I want to kill Carlton? He took care of me. Oh, and I love him too, of course. There's another reason.
Maybe he's hired a private investigator. And how does someone investigate you?
Maybe you wanted to find out why you went to New York.
I doubt it. I made sure none of the witnesses would talk. Hello, New York! I knew it well.
Will you put that thing away? I don't want to have to tell you again.
Yeah, sure, Dad.
Oh, great. Of course. Stephen.
Yes, I'll make sure the windows are on the cars.
What a sweet man.
Why do you pick on him so much?
Well, it's not just him. I pick on everybody. I'm what you'd call an equal opportunity natty.
It's cold in here, isn't it? Is anybody else cold?
You're always cold.
Here's I'll get it. I am.
I was.
Carlton Merrill's secretary. I first met him when I was a student at the university, and he was one of my professors. He had posted a memo requesting a secretary. I applied and got the position.
theater stuff. It's for anyone who doesn't have a costume. They can rummage in there for anything that they need.
Aunt Lil, you're a lifesaver. My plane only got in 3 hours ago, and I really didn't have fun.
Just stick around in there, darling. You probably know me already, don't you, dear? I'm sure you've heard my name. Lillian Sloan, where's the princess? Come on. Oh, maybe that was a tape before your time, but I'm sure your father remembers me. Years ago, on Broadway. No, not Shakespeare now. You mustn't judge me as pedaling the shrew. Shakespeare's always used as a hurrah on the great white way. I did play Hamlet once. No, I don't mean I was in Hamlet. I mean I was Hamlet. And I shouted them, even if it wasn't on Broadway. Of course, we only played murderers. I was never actually involved in the murder until now. I was never much good at modern tragedy. It has no flair, no imagination. Not to take anything away from the heinous craftsman here, though. I do not know my nephew very well, but he was a horrible man. He was a great conversationalist, a divine dinner companion, but a horrible man. I could have played him better.
Kimberly here. You don't seem to have a costume.
Yes, I know. I thought that part was just his family.
Oh, nonsense. You were invited too, weren't you?
Yes, but I didn't think that I
Then
was...
march yourself right over here and we'll fix you up. Let's see. Sign pen.
Can I measure her inseam just to make sure? Leslie, if you're going to keep up that attitude the rest of the day, then you might as well leave.
Oh no, I'll be good. I have a distinct feeling things are going to get real interesting around here.
Here we are.
Oh, no, that's acting. I see the face on me as a lovesick and naive Juliet.
Right place, wrong part. Fire Lawrence. I played it in high school.
An obvious oversight by some high school director, I'm sure. I think it's lovely people.
Look at all this. Wigs, beards, mustaches.
I am giving Carlton 5 more minutes and I am going to get him.
Breaking the lines then, are we?
I don't care. He's been acting strange all weekend.
How do you mean?
How can you tell?
Shut up.
Ow.
He comes to his office every day around 10, and today he went an hour early at 9.
It must have something to do with this ominous announcement he's all got us waiting to hear. The Shakespeare thing. That's far for the course for Carlton. We both had our very liberal dose of the arts when we were growing up. Dad, he was an avid reader. Mom was what they used to call a patron of the arts. They still may call them that. I wouldn't know. Anyway, the Bard was read and acted out in many amateur plays in the Larrabee living room. Carlton, of course, was always Romeo, Macbeth, or Othello, and I was invariably Ego or Tybalt. I guess we were both trying to get Dad's attention, for he was a man to be conquered with. I even took up magic, sleight of hand, stuff like that. I got to be pretty good if I do say so myself. Silverware was missing from the house for years. But with Dad, Carlton was always the center of attention. He had a way of delighting people where I could only satisfy.
St. Francis be my speed. How oft tonight have my old feet stumbled at grave. Who is it that consorts so late the dead?
Well, maybe that director knew what he was doing.
Really starting to come down out there. See? Well, while we're waiting, how about a game?
That's an idea. Let's do something.
I really don't feel up for any games.
Oh, come on, Dad. What's the purpose of a party? To have fun. And how do we have fun?
It's really starting to get obnoxious, you know.
I'm pretending I'm you now. Get out of my way. What kind of game can we play? One that should include everyone, even the ever-silent Miss Trent.
Leslie's right. This sitting around is getting monotonous, and the weather's not helping any.
Thank you, JoJo. You were always my favorite.
Liar. She's never lied to amongst my sons. I forgive you for that.
You know, in that outfit, you look just like Pat O'Brien.
I'll forgive you for that, too.
That,
I wouldn't go for 3.
What are you doing, like some coffee?
No, wait, Stephen. Stay and play. You're a part of the family, too.
yeah, the best part is the part that's not related.
Really, stay. We all know that Leslie's a pain in the butt.
Oh, I get it. If you had to put up with, so do I.
Exactly. And good help is so hard to find these days.
You really should have been in the theater, Leslie.
Really? Which one?
What kind of game, Les?
Well, let's think a minute.
I love charades.
Yes, we would all be good at that one. Wouldn't we? Wait just one second. Aunt Blanche, are you telling the truth?
What?
You're not playing the truth game, are you?
No,
That'd be the
wait.
worst excuse.
This might just be fun. Aunt Blanche, is charades your favorite game of all?
My favorite game? Yes, I guess.
I see what you're doing. Our favorite game.
Right. A game of games.
Yes, charades is definitely my favorite game.
Wow.
You sound like Dr. Jacobs.
I don't know what he's up to, but you better watch how you answer that.
Because it's fun.
No.
Mom, what makes it fun?
I like acting things out without using words. What's the matter with that? Also doing something that nobody else does. Getting that across, too.
Knowing something nobody else does.
Okay. Then let's see. Ah, here we go. Then the perfect character for you today should have been Bottom.
Bottom.
Yes, you know, from Midsummer Night's Dream. He was an actor playing a part, just what she said.
Wasn't he also the one that turned into a jackass? Leslie.
I see what the game is. I see what the game always is.
Wesley, you always take things too personally.
Excuse me for being restless. I have trouble sitting. Just sitting. I have no patience at all, especially in a situation. Sometimes I have to hide it, so I cover it as best I can. I know you want to know everything, so I'll tell you what I can. If I jump around a bit, you'll understand. I swear I'm just like a puppet. So, Uncle Carl. Uncle Carl was very kind to me. I know he liked me. He watched over me like I was his son. Like when I was seeing Dr. Jacobs. Well, he's a psychiatrist. He's in the book. I wanted to seek professional help for my anxiety. I used to really have it bad. So I went to Dr. Jacobson for a little over a year. He said what I had bordered on claustrophobia, only with people. I just felt things close in on me at times. I would do almost anything to prevent this. Dr. Jacobson helped me control it, though. I'm much better.
So what's your favorite game? Monopoly? Has to be, right? That's why you're always the nice Uncle Carl.
Get out of my face!
Boys!
Girls, this stuff all on edge with stupid announcer heads. I'm going to get him.
Wait, Mom. Let me go. This outfit will kill him. The next scream you hear will be his, I'm sure.
This room's getting to be a little tight for me. Stephen, what's this about Carl being interested in that farm of yours?
Oh, it's not a farm. It's a small piece of land. A couple of acres.
Well, he wants it for some reason. You just be careful.
Malcolm, that's your own brother.
Just giving Steve a piece of advice. It's always a safe bet to read the fine print.
And what would you know about a safe bet? You've never made one in your life.
We all find things to spend money on, don't we?
Yes, Uncle Carl money.
Maybe the announcement is something good, like Stephen and Jolene's engagement.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he knows about it yet.
Well, why not? Everybody else knows.
Oh, well, it'd be the perfect marriage of convenience. Steve would get Jolene, and old Moriarty would get Sue's property. It'd be perfect.
Why do you keep bringing up that land? It's really nothing.
Why do you keep playing it down? Leave him alone. You too. Leave him alone.
Well, if this is the best that you can offer for him, it's a hanging. Now that's more like
I didn't kill my father. If you're expecting some kind of a confession, you won't get it from me. I don't really know what you expect. What do you want me to say? He's been murdered and everyone is calmly telling their life stories like this is some kind of a documentary. As far as any facts go, I don't know what you consider a fact. What is the truth? He could be kind. He could be stern. He could be dictatorial. He could be anything. It's the way I grew up. I know no other father to compare him with. I know I'm adopted, but he's the only father I've ever had. What do you want from me?
What on earth? That sounded like Jolene.
Wait,
everyone take it easy.
Well, Carl's
I
like
said calm down.
I thought it came from the kitchen.
Jolene!
What is it, Joe?
Wait, let me. Joe? What is it? Come on now. First syllable sounds like...
What are you doing? She's scared to death.
Oh, you know her and Carlton. This is just another one of their little tricks.
I don't think so. She's not that good of an actress.
It was a full 20 minutes after Jolene passed out that she regained consciousness and could tell us what she had seen. By that time, of course, we already knew. We went outside first to see if it was a prowler or something. It turns out it was quite some time before anyone even checked Carlton's office. I think we were all afraid of what we might find. I guess I'm still having trouble realizing it. Brother or not, the sight of someone being clubbed on the head like that, and all that blood, it's enough to grab even the strongest type person. We called the proper authorities, of course, and they came. That's when I overheard the medical exam.
Go ahead and cry. You're ready to want it back.
I can't believe it.
It must have been a burglar.
What?
A burglar broke in and killed him. That's probably what happened. Is that what you think?
No. I guess it's possible.
Well, that's the last of it.
The police?
They think it's one of us, don't they?
They're just looking for a sure thing. That's all. How's Jolene?
She's upset. We're all upset.
Try to forget about it. Go drink something, will you?
Sounds like you're a little on edge yourself there, Dad.
Well, of course. Ah, damn rain. Wish it would stop. I'd go out and work in the garden and relieve some of this tension.
You could go garden? Just like that? Full easy, forget about everything?
Well, it'd get my mind off it. Besides, we got gophers in there again. I killed one yesterday.
You killed a gopher?
Well, when you work, digging and weeding, and suddenly, it's just a matter of knowing what has to be done and doing it. That's all. I don't get mad very often. You know that.
Yes, I know this. That's usually in me.
Sorry.
Get it.
With a shovel? You killed a little gopher with a shovel?
Done.
Jolene, dear, is there anything I can do for you?
I'm all right. You go ahead home.
Well, if it's all right, I'd like to stay here for a little while longer. I don't feel safe driving.
You want to stay here?
Yes. I just can't drive home right now.
Oh, I see this. It's rotten weather.
You stay as long as you like. Spend the night if it'll make you feel any safer.
Thank you.
Kimberly, is there anything bothering you besides all this?
No, there was something that I needed to talk to Mr. Larrabee about.
I know, dear, I know. It's nothing, it's not a tragedy. You go ahead and cry if you feel like it.
I don't know what I feel. Excuse me, please.
Now what?
Kimberly,
No, Jolene. Let her go. She's upset.
upset? Do you know something?
Anyone can see that.
She was crying. I thought what we had was true love. I know that sounds like something out of one of those teen magazines, but that's how I felt. I guess Carlton, it was just an affair. A diversion. I wouldn't be telling you any of this, except what I found out on the 15th. My doctor confirmed that I am pregnant. There are no other men in my life. It is Carlton's baby. You will be quiet about this, won't you? Well, I've only told one other person, Carlton. It was like he didn't believe me. He kept putting me off. Until this party. And he said he had some announcement he needed to make. Don't you see? It has to be about me. The Shakespeare thing. And the fact that I found out on the 15th, and the party's on the 27th. Don't you see? The party falls on the 12th night. Jolene here.
I'm fine, Mother. Right now, anyway.
Such a brave girl. I can't believe you went back into that room after such a shocking news.
I had to. It may sound kind of morbid, but I had to see him just one last time. But why, darling? Mom, he's my father. Even like that, I hope the police find whoever did it to him and hang them.
They will, I'm sure.
But we've got to help them.
We are. We're doing everything possible, telling them everything we know.
But you shouldn't have moved him then.
Moved it?
I mean, changed his position in the chair.
I didn't move them.
Who did that?
Are you saying he was in a different position when you first saw him?
Yes. He was leaning back in his chair with his arms hanging at his side, looking straight up. But when we went back in, he was hunched over his desk with his arms resting on top. Who did that? Who moved him?
I believe the question you should be asking here is, who was the first one in the room?
Wait. It all makes sense now. The coroner said that judging from the progression of rigor in his body, he died somewhere between 2:30 and 3:30. I heard him talking in the hall.
So you're saying he changed positions himself?
No. No, that can't be. You're saying that when I first saw him, he was still alive?
It's possible. One explanation.
So when Jolene found him, he was alive. And when she left him, he was...
You can just stop that line right now, you little brat!
right. The police think along those lines.
I'm sorry for being so emotional. I'm not usually like this.
We know, dear. We know.
Yeah, it's been a tough day all around.
So the police think Jolene might have done it. I mean, that's impossible, isn't it? I mean, we were all here together during that time.
People come and go all the time. For instance, how many times have I left the room since we've been here?
Look, that doesn't make any difference. According to what I heard, the time of death doesn't help them all that much. Because he died somewhere between 11 and 1 o'clock.
Now, how do they know that?
The blood, most of it had already died.
Very nice. She's in hysterics, and you're talking about details.
The blood. And can they tell how long?
They can only estimate sometime between 11 and 1 o'clock.
That would account for the watch. What? The watch was smashed. Didn't you see? Yeah, it said 12:32.
I heard him mention that, too.
You ever heard a lot, didn't you?
I was just trying to get some information. That's all.
What did they say about the watch? The police.
They're not real sure. They figure a frame, set the watch forwards or backwards, and then break it, and it gives whoever killed him an alibi.
Uh-oh.
Now what?
That rules out a burglar. See, burglars don't need alibis. There's only somebody who needs to be somewhere else at the time of the murder. Somebody who needs to spend that time somewhere else.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry. I was just trying a few card tricks. You know the old saying, I see it, and I don't. Gives you something to think about, doesn't it?
I have behaved normally all day. Well, normal for me. Well, as I behave every day. Normal. Carlson went into his office around 9 o'clock and I left him alone. Whenever he went into that rarefied atmosphere, he did not wish to be disturbed. If you had to talk to him, you had to go to a phone and call him. For some reason, he found that more acceptable than entering his precious den. He did everything from in there. His oil interests, his stocks, God knows what else. Anyway, I had called him just before 11 to tell him that I was going to watch a television program over at Bernita's. She's our neighbor on that side. And let me tell you, anyway, he said fine, and that's the last thing he ever said to me. Oh, he did say something about a meeting with his lawyer tomorrow.
Why would anybody want to kill him?
Oh, right. It's not the murder, it's the thought behind it.
It's more like a nightmare.
Now, wait a minute. Everybody thinks this through with me. Once or twice, Carlson let me into his office. And that door of his, it sounded like an Irish banshee. I mean, it made my skin crawl.
Oh, I owed it. Well, it did make a horrible sound. How was I to know someone was going to murder him?
Now, there's a real good question, boy.
Look, are you trying to say I killed him?
All right, stop it, you two. We don't need this, especially not now. He oiled the door because it squealed. That's all. That's his job. Besides, he still would have heard someone enter the room. There's the sound of the door opening, footsteps, breathing. People do make noises when they enter a room.
Not if they're trying not to make noise. How would you do that? A little birdie told me the same thing told you to all the damn door.
Come on, please control ourselves. We need to be calm. We need to be calm. I was the one that tried to keep everyone calm. I figured if we could all remain calm, we could sensibly get a few things straightened out. I don't like shouting. Oh, you like my costume? I'm Dromio from Comedy of Errors. In the play, there were two Dromios. They were twins, servants. So we decided, Leslie and I, we decided to come as these twins, which seemed strange to me because he hates being a twin, or having a twin. He hates it so much that he, well, usually that is, he hates reminding people of it. I mean, we never dress alike. He even parts his hair on a different side than I do. That's why it surprised me when he came up with the idea of coming as twins. Yeah, that was his idea.
I'm still having trouble visualizing how that.
It's simple enough. What's the problem?
So you're saying someone simply entered the room, picked up whatever was handy, and bludgeoned him with it?
It's possible.
And Carlton, he never moved. I mean, he didn't turn around and see who it was. You said yourself that someone couldn't enter the room without being heard.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But if he was very busy.
What, dear?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue. What were you saying?
Well, if he was very busy, he wouldn't have turned around until he was through with whatever he was working on.
Not just for a moment. Just to see who it was.
He didn't have to.
Why not?
The clock.
Oh,
I forgot about the clock.
the clock. I'm missing a lot here.
The clock over his desk is a mirror as well. One time I entered the room and he said, "What is it now, Blanche?" without even turning around. Then he pointed at the damn thing and laughed. It's just the humor sometimes.
That means that Leslie was right. It couldn't have been a burglar.
What?
He didn't turn around because somebody he knew. Your diction is a trifle slurred, and you need to stand up straight. An audience has been won over, and you'll never do it by... Oh, well, we offer advice. I still don't know exactly why I was invited to this particular party. It was probably Blanche's doing. You know, invite the old aunt. She doesn't get out much. She needs to circulate. Oh, that's right. It's not that I don't circulate. It's just that I must be careful. I have a reputation to think of. I've worked hard for many years, I'm not ashamed to say. I have dozens of scrapbooks, and I look through them every day. Oh, not alone, I agree. I have 17 cats. And they love me, and they love my scrapbooks. It's my life, all laid out. It's my reputation. After all, what is the person without a reputation?
Stupid brain.
So, if all this is true, it must be one of you.
No, I just have that it was somebody that he knew. Maybe an old friend, the mailman.
On Sunday?
No. Very few people were allowed into the office.
Then one of us is...
Well, maybe it was self-defense.
Self-defense? Carlton was facing the other direction. What was he going to try? A trick shot?
Well, maybe he was killed somewhere else and then placed into the office.
Why? Why take the chance? Why not just leave him somewhere like his office where no one would dare enter and he'd be left undisturbed for hours?
Ah, then there's the blood.
Exactly. Plus the fact that people were in and out of the house all day. No, he was killed where he sits. At least that's what the police think.
Overheard that too? Do they at least know what the murder weapon was?
Oh, yes.
Blonde? I'm Jen.
Right.
Well, maybe it was an accident.
be on the floor. No, it wasn't self-defense or an accident.
I think we can safely rule out suicide as well.
Look, this is getting... Oh, now what?
Hey, this is getting good. They hate me. Mainly, I guess, because I don't panic easily. People generally mistrust two types of characters. Those who are always cool, and those who are always nervous. So I guess you see now why me and my brother don't get out very much together. We're sort of a double threat. Anyway, back to this New York thing. You know, nothing, visiting a few old friends. Well, there was a little incident in which Uncle Carl, out of the goodness of his heart, extricated me from. How he found out so quickly, though, I'll never know. Oh, I also found out a few things about Aunt Lil and her career. I figured I'd save him up and tell him to old Moriarty when he was in a better mood, but he kept going on and on how worthless I was. I told him everything. It didn't even faze the old bastard. He just smiled.
Wait, let's backtrack a minute. What do we know here? I mean, really know. That he was killed from behind with a blunt object.
Right.
Oh, Jolene, if this is getting to be a bit too much for you.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, let's put this over there. See?
What are you doing?
He's reenacting a crime.
To what purpose?
I don't know. Maybe no purpose. I just know we're missing something. Now, Carlton was sitting like this.
Well, as far as we know.
Wait, I can't see.
Where are your glasses?
I must have left them over at Marina's.
It's cold in here. I think I'm going to start a fire.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. You stay away from that fireplace. You're not going to smoke out of here like
Why?
you always do.
Now what's missing? The murderer. Okay, you be the murderer.
Me? Why me?
It's only hypothetical. Just a reenactment.
Remember now, just pretend.
I guess I always hated being treated like an outsider. They always made sure I knew my place. Except for Jolene, of course. And Carlton to some extent. Oh, I know he wouldn't have made it. I even teased him a little. You know, decided to sell it and then change my mind. But I got tired of our little cat and mouse game and decided to let him have it. For a good price, of course, which he was willing to pay. But then, he didn't want it anymore. For no reason. He just changed his mind. So, since no money changed hands and no papers were signed, we both fell off the field. Well, no one knows that yet. They think he bought the land, I think. But he didn't really.
Now, Jolene, this will probably be a little rough on you. But think about when you first saw Carlton. Was he like this?
No. His arms were at his side. And his head was back.
Like this?
Yes, that's how he was.
Well, let's do
One! So now I'm Carlton, working at my desk, right? The murderer enters, comes up from behind, and hits me. Now you see my problem with it?
You're forgetting the mirror. We're working on a hypothesis here that he saw them in the mirror.
Okay, so now he's working. The murderer enters, he looks up in the mirror. No, that doesn't make sense either. Nobody does that. Look, he's leaning over the desk working.
That's because you're such a stupid old fool. Somebody had a back your head in! There. Look at him. That's what he saw in the mirror. Not just somebody entering the room, but somebody entering the room and raising a club up behind him. That's what caused him to straighten up. Right there, look.
Don't you ever do that to me again.
So you're saying Carlton not only saw his murderer enter the room, but he saw himself about to be murdered?
Well, that would count the way Jolene saw him, or so she said.
Wait, are you calling her a liar?
Oh, excuse me. We just realized one of you is a murderer, but we wouldn't want to offend anyone now, would we?
Now look, if she says that's the way he was, then that's the way he was.
He moved. He moved his arm. He was leaning over the desk when we found him.
And the phone was off the hook, remember? Maybe he was trying to call an accomplice.
Accomplice.
Look, this is getting us nowhere. Let's concentrate on what we know here.
Speaking of which, I didn't know that Carlton was left-handed. His phone is on the left side of his desk now.
This is getting to be a bit much. Murder, suspects, lightning.
It's just a coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences. I don't know.
Neither do I. Isn't that a coincidence?
What was he doing with that phone?
There is one other answer. It might have had something to do with that announcement. It may sound kind of morbid, but Daddy dying like that during a Shakespearean party, it's the way he would have wanted to go. A clean exit, as Aunt Will would say. Shakespeare is full of murders. What's that line? Oh, why should dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? Thou come no more. Never, never, never. King Lear. He says that over the body of his daughter Cordelia. He misjudged her love for him and cut her off from the family wealth. He was wrong. In the end. Thou come no more. Never, never, never.
Do you think it's possible for someone to actually know that they're dying? I mean, dying and know it. Actually realize it at the time.
Yes, I believe so. It's in hundreds of plays. And theater imitates life.
But does life imitate theater?
What, darling?
Does it? He set the stage for us.
If you mean playing this out himself, then it makes no sense.
I don't think that's what she's talking about, Tom. Continue.
Suppose that he knew he was dying, and he knew he did it. He was given a second chance. He came to and was trying to tell us who the murderer was.
You mean...
Left clues.
Exactly. On the deck. Somehow, some way, left us the clue to point directly to the murderer. Wait,
What is it, Blanche?
I think I remember something. I think I know who it was. I think I know who did it.
You remember something?
Just then, the shoot...
Hey, who's there? What is that?
That's what's known in the business as a cliffhanger. Now, at this time, we'll take a 15-minute intermission. But, as an added bonus, we're going to allow you to see the crime scene. That's right. We're going to allow all you armchair detectives to see the room where Carlton Larrabee was murdered. Now, make sure you don't touch anything. Now, if you all just go out to the commons, there will be ushers there waiting to escort you to the scene of the crime. And in 15 minutes, we'll meet back here for Act 2 of Legend About Murder. Lights, please. I did that just to scare you. Or you can see it as a sort of symbolism, I guess. You see, in this act, we get to peek behind the mask. It's also a little scarier this time around. So, how do you like the lyric? Average family in an average house with an average killer running around loose. And that's how the rest of the world sees them too. But we know better, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? We've seen a little of what's behind those frozen smiles. Look at them carefully, ladies and gentlemen. There is something both seductive yet forbidding about this group. Reminds you a little of your own family portrait? Now, as an added inducement for tonight and tonight only, we offer this service for those of you interested in the time factor of this theme. In other words, where were all of these people when Carlton Larrabee received the death blow?
I went over to my neighbor's house just before 11 to watch a television program. After it was over around 12, I came home and started getting ready for the party. I didn't see anyone all day until Jolie got home, which was around.
I was visiting an old friend in Florida and had just flown back today. My plane arrived about 11:40, and Stephen was at the airport to pick me up. We didn't come straight home. We stopped and had lunch at some restaurant, one of those little roadside places. In fact, it wasn't until 1 o'clock when we got home. And that's when I saw Mom and helped her get the refreshments ready.
I was with my family car this morning. You know, checking the battery, changing the oil, replacing a flat tire over there, and like that. I left here to pick up Jolene about 11 o'clock. On the way home, we stopped at a restaurant for lunch. One of those roadside places. I don't really remember the name. We got back here about 1 o'clock, and I started getting the place ready for the party. The first person to arrive was Malcolm.
This morning I slept late. On Sundays I usually do. Then I met with a friend of mine for an early lunch. This was around 11 o'clock. See, he runs a little betting pool on all the football games, and I wanted to get a bet in before tomorrow's game. I left there at around 11:45, and I came straight here. Oh, I didn't come inside. I went out back to work in the garden. We've had some trouble with the gophers.
I had lunch with the family. Mom and Dad were here. They just lived about 15 miles out of town. I'd gotten there early, around 9, to help Mom with the meal. I also was intending to tell them about my problem, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I left there around noon, intending to come straight here, but I just drove around for a little while. I didn't get here until 1:45.
I woke up bright and early. Really looking forward to the party. I wanted to read a newspaper, but for some reason I didn't get one today, so I drove over to Uncle Carlton's to borrow his. I just saw it laying on the lawn, so I didn't bother to come inside. Anyway, I saw a little arts and crafts fair going on just about 4 blocks away. So I went by and picked up an old girlfriend of mine. There's no sense in bringing her into this. And we went. We were there from about 12:30, just before 2. And then I dropped her off and I came back here. Yeah, I got dressed here too.
I was home this morning. I sleep there, you know. Well, it's just about 20 minutes away from here, so I saw the need to rush over and saw little Ike too. He's on a ride at a party on time, after all. It's just not that. I was up in the attic and he got his costume. I was downstairs boiling a kettle with Abby's bell. I remember thinking she never gets up until after 11:40. Well, anyway, she called and told me about her latest liaison and finally let me on the phone a little after 12. I just hate telephones.
I was out with friends all morning, all last night too, for that matter. Don't look so surprised. I do have friends. Anyway, she got me by my place around noon. I mixed up a little breakfast and managed over here somewhere between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. I mean, if you want the lady's name, I'll give it to you. She was a lady.
And there you have it. You know, it amazes me about people and how they remember things. They don't remember anything exactly as it happened. They remember how they were feeling as it happened to them. How it affected them. So, what happened in the first act? No, I mean, what really happened. How much of it was real and how much of it was a lie. Was someone really murdered? someone actually died. Of course, though, popularity, gosh, people think. Now, the lights are out. Remember that the lights blew in the first act. And the house is dark and quiet. Well, it was quiet. This ever-present thunderstorm is really getting on my nerves. Now remember, well, it seems as if there's a chill in the air. One of those deep musky chills. Like someone just took a feather and ran it down your spine. And your body becomes frosted over with terror. Stiff and icy. You know the feeling. You're alone, but you're not. When you hear the footsteps of the mad strangler, that you know in your heart is finally coming down to get you. Or the forgotten dream. And suddenly you remember that you were being buried alive. That's when all logic seeps away with the setting sun, and your soul becomes frosted over with the terrors of the night. And there is a murderer somewhere in this house.
Who's there?
Dad? Is that you?
Wesley?
Where did you go? I tried to follow you, but
I went to the fuse box. The power must be out somewhere down the line. Listen, son, this is probably a little rough on you. Why don't you go back to your apartment? I'll tell the others.
well, I thought I would. But this rain. And wind. Must be awfully hard to see out there.
Yeah. Listen, son, why don't you come back to my place? Sleep in your old room.
I don't know. I'm trying.
It's getting to all of us. Even to Leslie, I think. We'll leave after I make sure Blanche is all right. Between that end table and the floor, she got a couple of really bad bumps when the lights got knocked out.
Where is Leslie anyway?
He's around here somewhere. Listen, son. Everything's gonna be okay. Really.
How can you say that? Somebody in the family just murdered Uncle Carlton. Doesn't that scare you any?
No. Whoever killed Carlton killed him because he needed killing. That's what the murderer would think.
Then you don't think there'll be anything.
I'm sure of it. Wesley, now stop. If you don't seriously think for 1 minute that I did it, well,
No. No.
I'm sorry, son. I forget sometimes.
Blanche is going to be much better now. Jolene's getting together a whole conference for Ed.
Who lit all the candles?
Stephen did, I guess. I wish there was something for me to drink around here.
Oh, I put a kettle on. Well, maybe hot water with cocoa or tea or
That's
coffee.
not what I meant.
How can you boil water with electricity on?
Gas stove, darling.
You know, I've just been thinking.
I know I'm going to regret this, but what about?
Well, what everyone else has been thinking about. Only, I've been wondering if the murder might have been premeditated.
Why do you say that?
Kimberly, when she said that old Moray might have been concentrating on something, and there's his phone on the foot. What if somebody deliberately called him, just giving an accomplice enough time to slip in the room and do the nasty deed?
Look, we're getting into a lot of wild suppositions now.
That's not all that wild.
What's your point?
The point is that our murder is rather cool. I mean, here, he or she murders someone, and they just slip back into the family portrait. no change.
Well, what do you expect? Do you think someone's just going to walk up to you and say, hey, here I am, I'm the murderer?
Well, there's nothing wrong with the fuse box. Yeah, we know. Dad just checked. When? I've been working on it for about 10 minutes.
I must have just missed it.
What time is it anyway? I think my watch must have stopped.
Oh, no, it did. See?
Dad, don't you think there might be more than one person involved in this?
Look, we're getting way off track. Let's concentrate on what we know here.
It's getting
Let's,
worse.
let's just put that aside for a moment. Now, we all just examined Carlson's desk. Now, what did everybody just find?
Dad, what did you find?
What are you afraid of telling me?
Not exactly a Norman Rockwell family, is it? Okay, we know where he fell. The police take that out for us. What I found was some books, a calculator, a notepad, a telephone which was off the hook, a music box, a pair of glasses, and an IOU of yours.
Now, I saw that too. And I didn't try to take it, I hope you noticed.
$5,000, Dad?
Yeah, that's what I owe him. And more, besides, the stock market hasn't been too kind to me lately.
There was also a pair of gardening shears. Now I wonder how those got in there.
I'm certainly not the only one around here who uses those.
If you mean me, you're right. I guess I've used all the tools in this house at least once in my life.
I'm sure of it. But it was what was on that notepad that caught my eye. That little scribble, unmistakably Carl.
What scribble?
A drawing of an oil well. Now, Stephen, is there something about that farm of yours you're not telling us?
Look, I've told you everything that is your business to know.
Everything?
What else is on that notepad? See what else is written there? That line?
I did. Double, toil. It's from the back. 3 witches.
And what do you suppose that meant?
Well, I suppose you want me to say twins. Is that not correct? Double, toil, and trouble.
What else was on that pad?
I have a feeling there was something there for everyone. Now I really need a drink.
I had thought I saw a bottle of bourbon out here.
Oh, I put that up earlier. You know your uncle was drinking.
Is she all right?
Yes, but a little shaken.
Can anybody blame me?
Of course not, Mom. You don't have to stop talking just because we came in the room. What is it? What have you decided?
Nothing. Well, besides the fact we've incriminated the whole family, nothing. I'm telling you, that desk is the key to everything.
We're guessing. That's all.
Well, I, for one, am going to go check it again. There's one thing we've overlooked.
What?
Look, we've all been in there since the murder and before the police got there. And as it stands now, one of you is the murderer.
Get to the point.
The point is that the murderer has also been in there. Don't you think he or she might have been placing false clues to divert suspicion away from him or herself?
I never thought of that.
Well, somebody might have.
Well, if they did, you just gave a great idea.
Look, we all need to go in there, all of us, and see for ourselves what's there and what's not. Now, let's go.
Wait. Right before the lights got knocked out, you said something about... Yes, you said you thought you knew who did it.
It was an idea I had. After thinking it over, it really didn't make any sense. Just a woman's intuition, I think.
Well, what was it?
It's really nothing. You go ahead to the office. I'll just stay here.
I'll stay here with you, Mom.
No, Jolene, we really need you to go with us. You're the first person to be in Carlton's
But
room.
I don't. I'll stay with her.
Well,
You go ahead. We'll be okay.
Well, let's go. The clues, they are a-changing.
Okay. Okay.
Everything has to be a smart remark to be done.
Fabulous, Leslie. Why don't you walk in front of me? Let's go. Take a right. Yeah, right. I said right.
Thank you. Oh, that's quite all right, Miss Clary. I really like you, and I wanted to stay with you to make sure that you're okay.
You don't suspect she'll leave, do you?
No, of course not. I just thought in my own silly little way that it might be Stephen. Now that is silly, isn't it?
I suppose so.
Wait a minute. You said two people afraid to tell what they know. What is it that you're hiding?
Mrs. Larrabee, I don't think that now's the time for that.
What is it? Kimberly, could you come closer? Kimberly,
Larrabee, you must have known. You must have at least suspected.
Kimberly, what are you talking about? What on earth?
Come on, you know about Carlson and me.
Oh, I wish someone fixed those damn lights. I think I saw some matches over here on the end table. Hope nobody took them. What? Who's there? Who is it? Who are you? What? Help!
Okay, we're out here. I don't see anything.
Wait, Joe. Stay there. Well, there's no one in the room.
But Mom was. Mom?
Settle down, Joe.
Mom, it's Joe. Where are you?
Take it easy, hon.
She was just in here. Now she's gone.
Look, I'm sure she went with Kimberly to meet the rest of us. We came around the other way, remember?
Stephen, that's not like her.
Come on. Just sit here. Look, why don't we just wait for the rest of them to see the event? They'll be back in a minute. Besides, don't like you having to go back into your dad's office. Let them worry.
You'll wait here with me, won't you?
Of course. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, Joe.
Oh, it's cold in here. I wish Wesley were here. He'd have a fire blazing.
You sure it's what you want?
Good point. I don't trust him. He's crazy, you know.
He is not crazy. You think he did it, don't you?
I know. You think Leslie did it.
I don't like Leslie. Can you do better?
No. Wish I knew where Mom went.
You quit worrying. She'll turn up.
It's so cold in here.
Wait.
Where are you going?
Just when you get it covered up.
I like your idea.
That's why I make the big bucks. Unless you'd like me to call Wesley in here to start one of his famous infernos.
No, that's all right. The comfortable part.
Just that stupid skull Leslie put in here.
Oh, I'm gonna kill Leslie.
Oh, don't say that too loudly. What? I thought there was a comforter in there.
It's okay. I'm warmed up now. It does that to me.
Now, goosebumps and quarter of me. Let me up. Oh! Hey! Hurry! Joe! Joe, no.
Please be all right.
Oh,
Please be all
God.
right.
Where is everybody?
What is it? What happened?
It's Miss Larrabee. She's dead. Where? Oh, my. We don't know where it is, but I saw who did leave the room. Who was it? Who did it? He was wearing a monk's robe. If he was wearing a monk's robe, then how do you know it wasn't he?
Are you sure?
Oh, this is where it was going on. I was in Florida. Like,
No one saw it happen?
Minty.
What's this in your hand, Aunt Lil?
Oh, I found that out in the hall.
Then whoever did it dropped it there.
And I found this also. It's a false beard. Does it help? Does it?
Oh, no. Our killer is tricky.
I'll just move her to her room.
No. She'll be all right. She'll be fine.
Here, come on, Joe.
Mom.
Stay here.
Mom.
I'll carry a candle.
No.
deduction.
I say we all leave this house. Now.
No, no, no!
Stay here. Nothing you can do for us.
Steve's right, Joe. She shouldn't have blurted out she knew who the murderer was. You think that's why? What else? What else could it have been? I mean, Blanche didn't have an enemy in the world.
She didn't know anything.
What, dear?
She didn't know anything. She told me when we were here not 5 minutes ago.
Yes, dear. What did she say?
She reminded me of that argument that Carlson got into with Jolene. He didn't want her to marry Stephen, and that's who she thought might have done it.
Me? Well, that's ridiculous.
And he's the one who wanted us all to leave the house.
What for, Steve? So you can pick us off one by one?
Stephen?
What about you? You said you're going to stay with Miss Larry, and you were allowed to stay with her, and now she's dead.
We got into an argument.
An argument so bad that you'd run to a dark house for a murder item? That must have been some disagreement.
You're just trying to throw suspicion away from yourself.
Look, we're not getting anywhere. I think we all need to get out of here.
That's what he said. I'm telling you, he did it.
Look, if you don't stop me, I swear, I'm going to
What? Kill me? Try for a hat trick?
Just because I said we ought to leave the house.
Huh? What about that picture called the Drew the Oil Well? Huh? And that music box?
What about that music box?
Got a charming little tune to it. Anybody bother to play it? It's called Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
I'm sure he didn't buy the music box just at the point of Stephen. Boy's friend, Freud said that everything was there for a reason.
Freud didn't say that.
I'm just trying to prove a point. What about the other item? The calculator, for instance.
Carl always had a calculator.
Yes, but anybody notice that number on it? It was 317537. Now, that particular number means anything to anybody?
No, unless he was writing down the telephone numbers because of the last digit.
What about that other number? It was 78910 and something else. It looked like a J. 78,910J.
An address?
78,000? That's a long street.
And what about the glasses?
Those were Blanche's. I noticed them and told her about them.
What did she say?
You don't expect Aunt Blanche did it. Not after.
I'm just asking. Now, what did she say about the glasses?
She didn't know how they got there.
Of course.
She may have been telling the truth.
Yeah, I know. But I was just thinking about the lawyer. Carlton had a meeting set up with Arnold for tomorrow.
That's right. It's in the afternoon.
You knew about it?
Yes. After all, I am his secretary.
What was it about?
I don't know. That you're not told.
Too fast. It's all going too fast.
Indeed, things do seem to be in something of a dither. But as the saying goes, that's all there is, there ain't no more. Besides, all of you have figured out who the murderer is anyway, right? Well, haven't you? Okay, tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to tell you to question the suspects. In case there's some thread of evidence you haven't figured out by now. So, if there are any questions at all, there should be a microphone that you should be able to step up to and ask. Now, you characters can relax. Now, are there any questions?
Jolene, could you tell us what the argument was between you and your father?
We had an argument about whether I should marry Stephen or not.
What were Leslie's motives?
Excuse me? My motives? What kind of question's that? Motives? Why would I need motives? I got a motive to mow the yard. I got a motive to get the newspaper. I don't need no motives.
Wesley, how long have you been attending psychiatric treatment from Dr. Jacobson?
I had said just a little over a year until this date.
What is Aunt Lillian's occupation?
My occupation is an actress. I'm sure you've heard me. I was in, let's see, the Three Goddesses. Of course, I was the lead role. And there's many other movies. You just have to attend and watch. I am sure you must not be affiliated with most of the theaters in New York.
What was the incident that happened in New York that Carlton bailed you out
That was nothing, yeah. You get in New York and, you know, there's bars and all that. I'm not saying I enjoy going to bars. Merely all I'm saying was there was a couple guys who had a nice game of poker going. I was betting, I was winning. I kind of got in over my head and I was about to get shot. So, you know, old Moriarty gave me a little cash, bailed me out. But, you know, I paid him back, so it's really not an incident.
Who would have the biggest benefit from his death?
What kind of question is that? My brother died. Nobody benefits from that.
When you were in New York, you also said you found out something about your aunt's occupation. What was it?
Let me think about this one. Let's see. The word occupation means you do something, right? It's your job. Her occupation was buying Korean cat food for her 17 cats. The lady didn't have an occupation. She merely was, her occupation is kind of mental. The lady's nuts. Her scrapbooks, it's the truth, her scrapbooks are...
Leslie, that's enough.
I'm answering the lady's question, Dad. You told me to be honest. You've always taught me that. She had it. Sorry.
Well, you also told your uncle that you found out about it, and he just grinned, didn't he?
Oh, well, he just grinned because of the fact that he was mad at me at the time because he bailed me out, and I was going to tell him about that. It's another story. Basically, what happened with that was, it was like a revelation that I believe, I don't know what it says, they're going to uncork something. I uncorked the fact that she didn't have a career. This whole time we were under this impression that she was some great Broadway actress. She was fabulous. The lady never got off her feet. I believe the biggest...
said that's enough.
Will you let me finish? I believe the biggest role that she ever had was she was selling some like prescription magazine at some Super X or something, and she had to dress up like Santa Claus to sell it. That was well, it's the truth.
I'll skip climbing over everybody to get to the microphone. Jolie, when your father died, did he have a smile on his face?
Anybody died with a smile.
Well, he
Leslie, you said you wouldn't mind telling us who the woman you dated in 94 was. What was her name?
It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, talk yourselves, please. At this time, I know that you all know who the murderer is, and there's no need to even going on to the crime actually play. The solution as it were, so we'll just, well, since we do have a legal contract with the management, who is Mr. Allen, we must legally press on. At this time, we will go on with the solution of the play. Now, since you all know who the murderer is, would you please applaud for the suspect of your choice? Kimberly Trent. Leslie Larrabee. Malcolm Larrabee. Leslie Larrabee. Stephen McDonald. Or Jolene Larrabee. Or do you think there was more than one person involved? I had anything to do with it. Now at this time, if you all direct your attention to the screen behind me, it will help you in the visualization of clues mentioned later in the act. Now, are you ready to find out who the murderer is? Good.
I did it. Oh, no, I don't mean I committed the murder. I mean I finally figured out who did it.
What do you mean? You figured out who did it?
Well, in the first place, I had one advantage over the police. I know for a fact that I didn't do it. So I was able to eliminate one suspect right there. Now, the main problem with this case, and there are quite a few, is trying to find a motive. See, everybody had one.
Well, certainly I was well above suspicion.
Not when you consider what you do about your reputation. Let me tell you, that one got around the family real fast.
Now I wonder how that.
But the rest of us, we certainly didn't
Yes,
have
you
any.
did. The meeting with the lawyers tonight. Lawyers are also needed to make up or amend a last will and testament. So it's not like we didn't have a motive among the family. Then it comes to accessibility, which brings us to the smashed watch. The watch was set at 12:32, if we were to believe it. If it was what he said, to give the wrong impression. Then, of course, there's the murder weapon, which the police haven't quite been in. Now, along with motives, we have several blunt objects lying around the house.
Yes, yes, you get on with it. I have a roast in the oven.
Now here it gets a little tricky, mainly because the first one, which could have been planned out for some time, was carried out in the same cool manner as the second one, which obviously had to be a spur-of-the-moment decision, a very cool hand at work.
I see what you mean. We all know each other much better than our objective detectives.
Or so it would appear. But let's consider the murder itself. In it, we found a fireplace with the usual fire tools, each conceivably a blunt object. Then, of course, is the hat rack, which held a couple golf clubs and a cane.
Would the murderer have taken the weapon with him when he left the room?
Possibly, but I doubt it. There was always a chance that someone would see the murderer leaving the office carrying it.
I noticed you being very careful about the pronouns that you used. I mean, you didn't say someone would see him leaving the office, or someone would see her.
Let's just say I'm still testing the water. And as for the desk itself, we found lying on top a pair of glasses, a pair of guarding shears, a notepad, a slip of paper with an IOU written on it,
With my name on it. Yes, we all know that.
a calculator, several books, one of which was knocked to the floor, a telephone receiver off the cradle, and several pens and pencils.
We all know that.
think I discovered their murder record with the help of dear Aunt Lillian.
Thank you. I think. Pray tell, what magnanimous gesture did I render that was so helpful?
You reminded me of something I'd forgotten from you. Carlton Larry was left-handed. Remember when you asked about the telephone on his desk?
Yes, I remember, but how is that?
This isn't just. Remember which one was closest to his left hand? It was a felt tip. Obviously the one he was using when he was trying to leave a clue.
Ah, the notepad.
Exactly, the notepad. Everything is written in ballpoint or pencil. Everything that is, except that line. 7, 8, 9. 1, 0, and a J. Now, I don't think that was an address. No, Carlton Larry was a math professor. He can make numbers jump through hoops for him. Forwards, backwards, take on different meanings. Meanings he hopes will only be figured out by the detective and not by the person who killed him.
You mean it's not an address?
No, but I think it's what he wanted the killer to think. But it all makes sense once you read it. 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack. In other words, a straight, but only in a game called poker.
Of course, you would know that. You're the only one of us who can gamble.
Yeah, but that means I couldn't have done it. Because Carlton would have figured I'd have seen that.
But you didn't, did you?
Daddy was killed with a poker.
Good. Makes sense, doesn't it? No. Once the police take it in for examination, they'll find traces of the blood, even if it had been wiped clean.
Even if it was the poker, how does this help?
Maybe it doesn't, but let me finish. Also, the desk, we found the music box. Now, here I firmly believe the killer made one terrible mistake. I believe it was placed there for the sole purpose of implicating me.
Well, it would look pretty obvious if you weren't among our merry little group. So you could have placed it there for the sole purpose of implicating yourself.
But I was already implicated by the oil there. Now, that was too much or too clumsy a clue. I believe it was purchased and placed there after the crime was committed.
By who?
Yeah, Stephen, if you know who did it, then give us the name.
Not until you heard the case against this person. Not until you hear the reasoning behind all this. There's still one other problem. The time element.
The watch. Again.
The watch. Now, it could have conceivably been smashed from a blow to the head if Carlton has raised his hands up after that. If we go by that hypothesis, then the only person here with a clear alibi for that time is Wesley. He was at an arts and crafts fair. 12:30, so just before the party at 2.
You don't want them to think that I killed him.
Let me finish.
But that's if the watch is correct.
Let me finish. Wesley, you also stated that you took the newspaper off the line. Carlton's newspaper. Is that right? Then he didn't know. He didn't remember.
Remember what?
Now, we all agree Carlton probably saw his assassin in the mirror on a clock in his office.
Of course. He had to.
But we were both so busy looking at the mirror, no one looked at the clock. It's an hour back.
Wait, that number. It's not close to
No. Carlton didn't place that there as a telephone number. He placed it there as a name.
So every number represents a letter. 7 is 3 is a C, 1 is an N, 7 is a...
Too simple. Much too simple for a man of Carlton Larry's intelligence. Remember, he can make numbers jump through hoops for him. Forwards, backwards, and upside down. And upside down, 317537 becomes Leslie.
Oh, no, 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 no! You're not going to try to pin this one on me!
And what about Blanche? We all said that it must have taken a pretty cool-handed work.
I'm telling you, I did not kill Carlton Larrabee!
Hold it! There are two other facts that no one has considered. One of them is the clock. Yes, it was fast, but no one touched it. Think. Blaine said Carlton was acting perfectly normal except for one thing. He went into his office an hour earlier. Everyone is overlooking today's date, October 27th, the last weekend in October. And besides Halloween, what else without thinking about it.
We all set our watches back an hour.
Yes, we did, but Carlton didn't. No one told him. The newspaper, which always carries a reminder on the front page, was taken, and he simply forgot. That's why he went to his office an hour earlier. That's why his clock is an hour fast.
Wait, you said 2 facts were never considered. What's the other one?
Carlton was wrong about it first. He did not see what he thought he saw, or who he thought he saw. He did write Leslie on the calculator, but who he really saw was
That's preposterous.
No, Wesley. Carlton was smart enough, even dying, to leave us enough to go on. He gave us a name and a weapon. Now, we all agree Carlton was a man for detail, but he never used common sense. He saw you enter and raise a poker, but he saw it in the mirror, a reversed image. You and Leslie part your hair on different sides, so in the mirror, you look like Leslie. You just guessed, and you can chalk that out now, too. I'm sure you've used it whenever you wanted something, or had to have things go your way. But I know differently. You were cool when you killed Carlton, and that's another reason you thought you were Leslie.
No, he's right. You're just guessing.
Am I? This whole house was dark, and just a few minutes ago, you carried lamps up to your bedroom. Who carried the candle for you? Wesley. Now, is that his character? Also, consider the murder weapon, a fireplace burner. Now, who would be more familiar with that blunt object than a man who is constantly cold? It'd be the first thing he would grab.
Stephen, you don't really think...
Why, Wesley? Was it the announcement? I don't know about the announcement. He wouldn't tell me. I begged him to, but he wouldn't. He wanted to make some ceremony out of it. I knew he was going to do. He was going to cut me out of his will. All he had to do was go over with his lawyer. I knew it. I could see it in his eyes. So you left his office? Yes. How did you know that? He thought you were Leslie, so you couldn't very well have killed him right then.
You make it sound so simple.
So what did you do next?
Well, I had to think quickly if I want to stop him. When I made some excuse about Leslie coming over early to talk to me, when I left the room. There was no one in the house. That's when I decided to do it. Came in here, made a phone call to his office. I wanted to tie him up, so he'd be distracted, not watching the door. I then begged Coffee Jack and asked him to hold the phone. So I took off my coat, back to his office. I opened the door, picked up the poker, and killed him. All very quick, in the space of a moment. After it was all over, I noticed his watch. I panicked at first. And I saw it was an hour fast. I thought I'd been given a reprieve. So I just wiped off the poker and left the house. I had to act quickly. So I picked up the newspaper looking for something, a movie, something to work for me as an alibi. That's when I saw the Arts and Crafts Fair. But I knew it would only work if I had somebody with me to verify where I was at that time. So I went by and picked up Madeline, and we went.
So is that where you bought the music box?
Yes. I guess that was a bit much now that I look back on it.
Wesley, how could you?
Well, like you said, Dad, there's something that had to be done. Needless to say, I was very cool at the party. That was my character, right?
What about Blanche?
I didn't want to. But she said she knew who did it. She was going to blow my cover. She was going to expose me. This time there were witnesses. People in the house. That's when I remembered Jolene's robe. She had taken it off and put it on the hall tree. It was perfect. But I had to be as careful as I possibly could. I thought, even I thought with the hood, if someone saw me, my beard, it'd still be seen,
So you took a fake one from out of the box of the disguise.
making it perfect. What better disguise for a man with a beard than leaving behind a false one, giving the impression that the killer needed it as a disguise, immediately drawing suspicion away from people who already had beards. But it cleared Leslie, too.
Thank you.
Thought everyone would now be stumped. Thought it would never get solved.
Wesley, how could you?
You lied! There you are!
He's gone!
You could have gotten it before the lights went out that long.
Everyone, we gotta search the house!
Come on, we're going to go.
Not the kitchen!
Come on,
First, quickly!
You go that way, Dad. I go this way. Who's that? Over here. Here he is. Help. Come on.
I don't understand. You don't understand, do they? No. No! It had to be done, that's all there is to it. You just don't understand. But you will. It takes all night.